Audio.
Yeah.
Welcome. Calling the meeting to order on this day, April 16th, 2024 at 6:34 thereabouts. Were you able to get online?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Okay, we can establish a quorum. Chair Valadez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Here.
and Commissioner Couture.
Here.
We have Commissioner Wang, Commissioner Moore, and Commissioner Young absent at this time. But we have a quorum of 4.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance, please.
Give me just one moment.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Oh,
we need the flag.
It's up, it's up.
Where?
Right
There.
there.
There you go. There you go.
The TV delay.
Okay.
Okay, pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh.
You can lock the table so it doesn't roll if you need to.
All righty. Do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda? Anybody? Okay, moving on, items for consideration action. First, the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve. Does anybody have any comments? Let's take the first one, the February 20th minutes. Anybody have any comment?
Chair Valadez, if you'll hold one moment, Commissioner Wang is joining. I just promoted her.
Great.
Hi, apologies. Hey, Casey, just to let you know, the link information on the web version of the agenda packet is different from the PDF version, and the web version is
I
wrong.
must have printed this yesterday.
Okay, we will look into that.
Thank you.
Hey, can we see her ahead?
She's on there, Commissioner Wang, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Commissioner Wang, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, she can hear. She's on there. I don't know why her picture's not coming up, but on my computer, her picture's there.
Oh,
Yeah, she's on it, yes.
Okay.
She can hear us.
okay,
Can we do a sound test? Is she
Yeah,
unmute?
that's what-
Can she speak?
Can you say something, Commissioner Wang?
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yay.
we're good.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we were considering the approval of the park minutes of February 20th. Did anybody have any comment on that? Any errors to fix? Actually thought you did a great job of capturing that long motion. Okay. Everybody okay?
Yes, I hereby move to approve the minutes from February 20th, 2024.
Commissioner Couture moved.
I'll second.
Commissioner Morris seconds. You wanna? Casey, you wanna call?
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously.
Okay. Moving on to the March 19th minutes. We talked about the land acknowledgement, the collaboration with Arts Los Altos, and the call for art submission review, considering creating an ad hoc committee. There was no action that was recorded, no public comment, nope.
The public comment's not on the agenda, but remember these guys.
The people, their names are there though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
I'll move to approve Minutes of March 19th, 2024.
I have a question though, if I may.
Oh, you do?
I thought there were comments regarding the public, of the collaboration. I thought.
Actually, you're right, there was one public commenter, Maddie McBurney.
Right.
Yeah, we have those though. It's in the recording, action minutes, remember?
Yeah, I do remember, but wouldn't we note that there were public
We
comments?
have those public comments.
We should have her name. No, you're correct, Commissioner Morris. We should have her name listed there.
Where it says none, you put Maddie McBurney.
I think I put her down as part of the presentation, not as a public commenter in my notes, so I can adjust that.
Okay, thank you.
Maddie spoke?
Yes. That
Yeah.
was
Correct.
a public comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you accept friendly
I'll
amendment?
accept that friendly.
Do I have a
amendment. Thank
second?
you.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Couture most moved with the friendly amendment, and Morris seconded.
Correct. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, also unanimous. As amended.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into the meat of it. The first topic is public arts brochure. Discuss and or approve updates to the public arts brochure. Is somebody gonna make a presentation?
I'll go ahead and just introduce it. I think the presentation was supposed to be done by,
Well, and Jenna did email me this morning and said that she would do any changes that we made today and get it back to the next meeting.
So why don't you start?
no, that was it, is I was gonna say she did not send any updates. She has, I think both sheets are attached that she has.
Right.
So here's the thing, I actually gave her more information than this too. So what I sent her was the old, and I don't know what year this was, but what I could find was the listing, so it's gonna look like this. Yeah, so she has that to help update. I also gave her this, which is the installation list that maintenance had. And then when I spoke to John Maginot, who used to be the liaison for the Arts Commission, he said that actually a lot of the updates that weren't on this spreadsheet was on the website. So the website, he said, was the latest information that he would have had. So with that, I gave her all three of those. I said, here's the website and here's these two things. And she says she has enough information to make some updates, but she is not gonna attend this meeting today. That's all she told me. So, I don't know where the commission wants to go, if they wanna get into it and start trying to make updates and sending them to her, or do you wanna wait until she makes the standard updates and coming back?
That's what I would suggest. I would suggest that she did the first brochure, so I would suggest she's got all the art that needs to be added. We just task her with updating the draft and then bringing it back here for review and approval, rather than us to like try
So
to.
what I would like to do though before is if anybody, because I know I do, if anybody has any clarifying questions they'd like to ask, and then we can move to a direction. I personally, does anybody have one?
No.
I do. Okay, please, go for it.
It's pretty, it's just more like, what does this mean? So there's one on here, bubbles, number 3. It says not to be installed.
Aren't we, that's jumping ahead in the
Oh,
agenda.
I'm sorry.
We're talking about the public arts brochure.
As far as action goes, I only included the maintenance list because it has new art, that's all. So just to clarify, if it's not on this list,
Right.
then we may have it just installed or not installed, but it's a new art on this list. That's all. So as far as the red action goes, don't pay attention to that right now. It's just for listing of the art. That's all.
So she can reconcile what's
Yes.
in the brochure, what's not on the brochure.
Okay.
What's ready to go in.
Okay, so my question is this, I'm hearing 3 databases. This one, website, and some list. So the question I have is it our intention as a park to create one list?
The website.
And that would be the website as the master list, as the source list of status? Is that true?
Correct, because these two are your tools
This, and once again, I'll go back to this is just a maintenance sheet that I thought would help her.
Yeah.
This should not be relied upon as inventory. If you're gonna rely on anything, it would be a movable spreadsheet. If you rely on a website, it's very complicated to update websites directly. I would say this, my suggestion,
No, and just, I totally agree with you, and that's what we did at Public Arts is, we were using this brochure as kind of the source of truth. Because we can update it and keep it updated much more easily than a website. The website, we have to go through all these procedures, and there are other priorities for the website, not that. I mean, ultimately, I think it would be fantastic to have an updated website, single source where people can go and click, but that's a challenge.
Okay, so here's what I would, I would like to see, is I completely agree with you on the website. We don't have the staff to keep our websites live and current. So they're generally informational and that's good, but anytime I see data on a website, I have to go to a source and check, is this updated? And that's across all departments, that's just not this one. So I agree with that. Secondly, in terms of maintenance lists, well, we don't really have insight into those, we don't, so I agree with what Manny said there. But then something like this, which can be, the problem I have with brochures being the source of truth is that that's only as true as the last time we've updated the brochure.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a real-time, up-to-date thing, and mounting a spreadsheet like this, I know it's complex and not user-friendly, but it has the data there. If we put this on do you have a Google Share Drive? So at any time, it's always updated,
supposed to use a Google Share Drive with the city information.
but you don't have an internal VPN net?
We do, but that's employees. So I'm not sure. Are you looking for a share drive that everybody can get their hands on?
That the park can, not the public, just the park.
But you've got that, and that's the current list.
I know, but if somebody changes it, then it's no longer, this is no
We
longer
could
current.
just ask Manny if there's an update, and the only reason there'd be an update is if we do make a call for art.
I do caution that you allow all commissioners access to it, not that we don't trust the commissioners to make the right information. But I think maybe there should be somebody designated, like Jenna or somebody, that would be able to update information on this. And then she would be the holder of this sheet, send the updates to staff.
That's very easy to do. I mean, every committee in the city, in all cross organizations, they will, look at the docents at the museum. They'll distribute a massive spreadsheet, which is the current schedule of docents, for example. But only one person, the coordinator of that committee, has access to change the spreadsheet.
I think it's been staff who's managed the list though.
So is this staff or is this park?
I don't know what's happened in the past. I'm not sure. But obviously, like I said, the liaison staff member told me that much of this information as not updated was updated on the website. So I don't know that there was one source, is what I'm saying. So if you create one source, it would make it easier for this commission, whether it's a commissioner that updates it or not, staff should hold it.
Yeah, I agree.
So if I hold it and Jenna said, okay, it's the second quarter of the year, send me the sheet and I'll make any updates. Or we just installed 2 things of art, please give it to me and I'll update it. She sends it back, we lock it up.
So here's a proposal, and tell me what you think about this, Chair Baldas. I can take the action item with guidance from you and Manny to maintain and create and maintain a list that only you can update or.
No, I don't want to.
I will update it, and the reason I'm proposing me is because I know I will come to every meeting, I'll be at every meeting. So would that be acceptable to everyone?
Yeah, and just a clarifying, back for history for you, is we used to have this list when John Maginot was there. And I don't know when this list has been updated, but we used to, Jenna and I would, in a small committee, would go around and make sure that everything was where it was and still okay and stuff like that. So.
And staff can help on that list as well.
Maintenance needs as well.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that's a fine suggestion. And then, to the extent that you work with staff to have access, but I would like to be able to see it at any time. I want to take a look at that spreadsheet and I want to be able to do that. Not that I need to change it or anything, I just want to understand.
You could just email it to Manny and Manny could email it to you.
I can email it or I can just post it on the website. There's a special link. It's, but it's a PDF that nobody can change, is what I'm saying.
That's
I
fine.
just think that no one should be able to change that.
Yeah,
except-
That's cool. No,
Would
that's
that
fine.
be a PDF that is, just for the commissioner, or was it public?
I just put it, it's public, it has to be public.
Yeah, I have no problem with the public knowing.
I don't think that's an issue, especially.
Yeah,
since it's
okay, good.
2019.
So I think we've got, and you're gonna be the local owner on that, great, awesome.
Sorry, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes, please.
Sorry, so the spreadsheet, this document, is this meant to be an inventory of all of the pieces of art that's sort of under the control, ownership, or management of Park?
It is my understanding
Yes.
that is what it's supposed to be, and
Okay.
everybody's nodding their head,
Yes.
so yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
And I have a question.
yes.
So I'm not clear on why. Oh, I'm not clear about something. Okay, so this is the inventory sheet. And in the past, I think John Maginot has updated it and controlled it. Why wouldn't we do that now? Why wouldn't staff do that? And here's why. Because I still get confused about, ad hoc subcommittees and stuff. So if she takes that on, is there an issue with that?
No, she's not a
It's not a
subcommittee,
committee, she's not talking to anybody.
just in silence.
I know,
You get what I'm
I
saying,
know,
don't
I
you?
do, I do.
Yeah, this is,
I
okay.
do, I mean,
It's fine.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can
Well,
get the information out there, so.
normally I would have thought this would have been, it'd go through staff, so that staff controlled it 100%.
Remember though, I mean, I'm not
Add
saying we can't do it,
Yeah,
staff could do it, but when you put more burden on staff, then it's really on our
I
schedule.
think it's totally.
Yeah, because you'll be like, hey, has it been updated? Which is what I think happens, and that's why the sheet you see in front of you
Yeah.
isn't updated.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Yeah.
I think we're set, and
Okay.
I think, Commissioner Corrigan can take that on,
okay.
and then, we're be to get it up on the website.
I'll share with her. With Commissioner Corrigan, and then she can update it or do the updates that she thinks are up to date, and then I post. And on occasion, however you wanna schedule it, or whenever
Whatever
we
she's
install
doing.
the art,
Okay.
we'll throw out things up there.
Great, perfect.
Thank you.
One more question, if I may, Chair. So do we need to be going out and looking at all the different pieces of art and making sure it's on the list? Or is that-
Commissioner Corrigan to, if you ever believe you need to do something majorly comprehensive, then we can always establish ad hoc committee.
Yes, and
Okay.
just to address Commissioner Morris's, question and concern, we've done that before. So, and in fact, it was Commissioner Couture who went around and was in charge of big maintenance update and projects. So
Okay.
it absolutely is something that has to be done, I would say yearly, right?
Yeah, we talked about that yearly, at one time a year.
And if we get to that point, I'm thinking that it should be you again, because you know the history with all the pieces.
So be quicker.
Yeah. You will.
I would agree with that, but I also want to make sure that, we're spreading the knowledge.
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
life happens and you never know, and now we have this incredible store of information that is not available to us anymore. So, I like the junior, senior, in terms of knowledge, not age, the junior, senior type pairing up as much as we can.
So somebody else could, you two could go.
Yeah, but we'd have to form an ad hoc. Okay,
So what?
She said you wanna form an ad hoc, I'm like, I don't think it's.
not now, not now, I'm not, no, not now at all. Only if we find we need to be doing something.
Finish that what? Was it October
And
last
by-
year?
So only if we need to do that.
By the way, two commissioners can do a task. You don't have to create an ad hoc subcommittee. You don't, I mean, you really don't, right? You can brown out yourself with one person, discuss something, get it done, update the list and present it to the staff. That's easy.
I don't know that that's accurate.
You can clarify on that. I mean,
Okay, I'll try to clarify on that. I mean, I don't even
I don't
think it's
think that's
a
accurate.
need for discussion if one person
Yeah.
thinks she updates.
Yeah,
you
we're
can
good.
do it.
We're good,
Yes,
okay, all right, cool.
Another clarifying comment, if any one of us sees that anything on here needs help, you can call Manny, you can email Manny and tell him, because he's in charge of maintenance.
Okay.
So some of the artists have already been contacted, and you can tell by you looking at this guy.
Right, those are the people that are doing work.
Okay, all right.
I think we hit it all. I think we're we're in consensus in terms of how we're gonna move forward on this, the process by which we will. And for now, I don't think, is there an action that we're taking by assigning this to Okay, great. So we can just, it'll be none in the minutes. But we understand how we're gonna work. Yeah, we discussed it. All right, we're gonna move on to the Midnight Stomp series and day on the Serengeti purchases. Status update. And the recommended purchases of those two.
It's in the report, and I apologize, I guess the printer didn't print my last two reports, or last two reports. So let me try to pull them up
If
here.
it's helpful for, everyone, I could give some kind of an overview, two pieces.
Are you talking about the
There's
status?
That's what we-
Definitely.
Yeah, we have the picture,
Yeah, okay, perfect.
but say them again.
Midnight Stomp is the three, birds that are outside of Safeway.
Right, okay.
Day on the Serengeti
Right
is
here.
at, yeah, there you go.
And Mary,
And Commissioner Couture can tell you this, that is one of the most popular sculptures. People love it.
really, the Serengeti.
Oh my gosh, it's like, they love it. It would have a feature article in the Town Crier and people wrote in and said they love it.
That's great. Great.
So, I mean, the
And they even like the placement of where it is.
So all we're going to do on this item is basically a status update on the recommended
Yep.
purchases. We've purchased them,
Yes,
correct?
Oh.
So that transaction is done.
Status is in there, yeah. it's on-
And they are located where they are. We haven't had any terrible things result from that, only good things. So everybody's happy and we can move on from this item.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next item is the city-owned art assets maintenance and preservation update. Receive an update on the status of previously approved refurbishing of musical gamble.
Art Without Walls, I'm sorry, Chair, this, but, Art Without Walls, aren't there a couple of questions with respect?
Oh,
to-
I totally skipped over that. That's my fault.
No worries.
Art Without Walls sculptures installation status. Receive update on the status of the installation. So who's going to give that?
Yeah. hang on.
Are you talking about your new sculptures PDF? No.
In the packet.
But in the packet is, that's what's in the packet under that.
Installed,
In-
not-
Yeah, in the packet, it's the list of maintenance. It's the document that's the list of maintenance.
Yeah, so
Mandy, it should be up on the screen now.
yeah, that's what it is. I'm just looking for the report that I wrote on it that gives the update. That says, it's okay. I think we've got the titles on the agenda, so we can go with that. That's the attachment that was there. So let me go into this.
So that attachment is not listed in the packet. Your report.
Yeah, my report's not in the packet and I don't know why. So, it just got cut off.
Now, I'm looking at the web-based one. Is it in the printed one?
No, because this is where I got the printed one from, so I don't know.
And you don't have it on your computer?
I have the original on my computer, but it's not posted.
Okay.
Let me see.
If it's not posted, then does that mean this item doesn't exist?
No, they don't exist because it's on the agenda. It's just, and the report is simple. It's just, I think especially for this report is just saying, this is the update. So and I think there were some questions by the commission in the past of where are we with the Compass Turtle? Is it installed? And that's just an example. And in red is the update this is the latest update that we have for these items that are on here. And a few of them you may have questions on, because I received updates from John Maginot on some of these things that probably the ones that weren't installed yet. And he gave me some explanation. So, at this point, I think that concludes my report on this. So,
Okay, so does anybody, so the red lines here, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use the word red lines. The red text is accurate?
yes, up to
Okay.
date for us, yes.
And who provided that data?
I had to get it from maintenance, I had to get it from John Maginot, and then some of it was left over from what I know, because I actually saw the art installed. So most of them are installed. If you go to page 2, I think page 1, number 3 would be the only one. So 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 all installed. Number 3, it said not to be installed. That's Bubbles, and I don't know why that was listed.
Right, why is it not? That was my
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
question,
That's so my
and
question. I have questions on this too. Is does the previous Public Arts Commission understand why that was told to me that that was not to be installed? Or is it installed? And I haven't updated it.
I have a picture of Bubbles, here's a picture of Bubbles if you want to see it. I'm not sure why it was not installed, because I'm pretty sure we voted to have it installed, but we did.
Okay.
So I'm not sure why.
So I would suggest that for item number, for, sculpture number 3, Bubbles, there is an open issue.
Okay, so I'll
Confirm.
try to hunt down why that was told to me.
I mean, it could be that, you know, there's some reason it's dangerous or something.
Okay, did we purchase it already? Do we have it in our possession?
It would have been on loan for us.
Okay.
So, and who knows, it could be the artist didn't get back to us.
Artist, that's true, yeah.
A lot of-
We're having issues with the artist right
Yeah, a
now.
lot of
So-
times artists don't get back.
So process question, right now in this moment, somebody needs to go do some homework. Is that something the commissioner does or
No,
something
no,
staff
that,
does?
that'll be stuff, because I just need to know any updates or really what I'm here to do under this item is to give you an update on where these are. That's all that is. So now that I know that it's unknown for number 3, I'll try to hunt down information.
Okay, great. So I got an action here next to your name.
So back to 1, you said 1 was gonna have to be moved because of PPE.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I believe that's later in the agenda.
Okay.
But yeah, it does not.
Oh, it does?
Oh,
Oh, good, perfect.
I'll give you that update in 2 minutes.
Okay, great.
So it is installed and it is fine.
Okay.
Okay, then there's the ones on page 2, if you could.
Dancing birds.
So that's another one where the artist hasn't gotten back to us. I'll talk to my maintenance crew, because my maintenance is the one that usually makes contact with the artist to say, hey, where's your artwork? Get it delivered, or, you know, whatever. This one is, we're waiting for the artist to move it to a different location, but they have not gotten back to us.
I apologize, I don't remember, but why is the artist going to move it?
I'm not sure. Let me,
Okay.
I can look more into that and get more details of why we're waiting for the artist. But when we were instructed from John Maginot, hey, talk to the artist to do X, Y, or Z, and they don't get back to us, that's difficult. So,
No, totally, and if there's no reason to move it, I would say, why impose any burden on the city and staff to move it, just leave it.
I think they want to move it, to tell you the truth, but I'll find out.
Oh.
I'll find out.
Okay, where in Lincoln Park is that?
I actually,
Because I feel like I know Lincoln Park and I don't remember this.
and I couldn't find a picture of it.
Okay, that's just a detail.
No, I was thinking, I need to hop on my bike and look at all this art.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on from Dancing Birds to number 8, Capitol Art, 3rd Street, question marks.
Yeah, that was kind of up in the air. Does the commission understand, anything about this that I can use?
So it was, recommended, and I actually think I have the minutes, somewhere here. Where, hang on, let me look at this. So Capitol Art was approved to be installed near 200 block on 3rd Street. 200 block, I would find this.
That's a recommended site or that's its existing
I'm
site?
looking.
Okay.
Okay, so, on December 8th, 2022, the commission approved the locations for placement of artworks as recommended by the subcommittee, with the exception of Butterflies in the Park, Tolling of the Bell, and Capitol Art and Compass Turtle.
With the exception of,
Right, with the exception of, so,
no location was determined.
I'm looking at the January 26th minutes now. Okay, here we go. For the, January 26th, 2023, upon a motion by, Commissioner Tasic, seconded by Commissioner Moore, the commission approved placing Capitol Art near 200 3rd Street.
200 Street. And now, has that been done?
It looks like it has not been. No.
So then that goes on to the staff as an action item to,
Yeah, because they have to look at the location, because there's already a place.
I don't see. It's probably with the artists, actually. The art, once we have a place, then,
Okay,
the city council tax them and the artist delivers it.
okay, great.
Yeah. And do you want to see a picture of it? I think so.
So Capitol Art at 203rd, is that the exact location?
200 parts. The
200 blocks. So that's basically
the pad already there.
Building. This is 3rd Street. The question is how, where on this?
Supposedly there's a pad there. I did not check that.
Yeah, it's usually the staff who decides where to
Yeah.
put it.
Well, we decided not to
It
put
says,
it.
meet with staff to confirm final location.
Yeah.
So it sounds like staff does do it.
Yep.
Okay, and it says existing concrete pad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's.
so the 200 block is that, that very, one of the original buildings in the city.
Nice way to put it.
Okay.
It's been converted into stores and stuff, but it has a long history. And a lot of it is available for lease right now.
Does the commission want to see this again, the final location, or installing it would be fine?
No, we're fine.
Just install it and let us know.
Okay, we'll talk to the artist then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is tolling of the bell, Loyola Fire Station, existing concrete pad, and it has a status of unknown.
Yeah, because the
We have to work with the
fire chief.
department. Yeah, that's.
doesn't have.
So this action is also on staff.
Says there's an existing pad also there, so it sounds like it's already got a location.
If they like it, if the fire.
They like it.
They say yes.
This may take longer though, because I know fire recommending some changes to their fire station, some upgrades, so I don't know what kind of construction is gonna be going on. But we can ask, we'll send another message.
Here's what that structure looks like.
There's already a concrete pad. I mean, that is a small facade fire station. Where, do you know where there's not much space. There are not many places it could go.
Do you know what the artwork looks like, Jenny?
Yeah.
The,
No,
No,
we're.
the firehouse, you
Yeah.
yeah, take a look at it.
it's a fire hat with the bell. Okay, so that doesn't look
And it
80
goes really
by
high.
13 by 17. So it looks like, I mean, the only place you can go is like in the lawn.
Yeah.
There's no other place for a pad. Do you see that? Because all this has to stay clear for the trucks. So it's basically that. So, yeah. So if they want to remodel this, yeah, that's gonna put,
It's on hold for a bit.
That's why it might be on hold for.
okay. So I'm gonna say this,
That would be on loan?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so is the artist okay with waiting for us to figure this space out? Or should we be looking at another location? I mean, we're asking artists to hold.
I mean, that's actually, very, very important.
I mean, I'm thinking that of any of these, we're asking artists to hold their artwork while we figure out what the fire department's
How long
doing.
has it been pending? Do you know when this was decided? Cause it may be too late already.
6 months.
It could be, yeah. I mean, we were talking about this in January
That's not
last
that
year.
Okay, so the action would be though on you to contact the artist? Or is that
If I
something-
contact the artist, though, we'll be contacting the artist to see, well, I could ask them that question. Like I said, right now, I don't have any direction from the commission to contact the artist.
Is
and push it off.
he okay holding, waiting for the fire chief to give us final approval?
Right.
What Danny is saying, however, right now is that we can make a recommendation as to what we want to have happen here.
Do we want to look, does the commission want to look for an alternate location and offer that to the?
It seems that the structure, the sculpture itself has a fire helmet.
Oh,
So
it
it's
does.
very, the subject,
Appropriate.
the subject is kind of tied to the,
Right.
unless, and I don't think, the other station already has.
They already have
a
They
their.
already have
sculpture.
that big one.
they already have their-
So I think the important thing, in my opinion, is that we need to reach out to the artist and say, how, is everything okay? Here's where we stand. Can you wait? Or, because they may not
Sell
want
it.
to do it.
Or do they want to install it and
Okay.
it's there for a year?
I have a suggestion. This if in order. I would say first, we contact the fire chief. If we can get an answer quickly-ish. And second, we contact the artist to see if they're willing to wait, pending what the fire chief says. And third, we bring the information back to the commission.
Yeah.
That's
That's my proposal for
an action. And that we maybe give it a date of maybe by June, maybe we can.
Let's see when the
How
fire
it goes.
department gets back to us, because this
But
may
it-
be a priority for the fire.
No,
Sorry.
however, no, it makes sense. However, if we put a time thing on it, if we don't hear back from the fire chief, then I would say when is our timeline for contacting the artists and saying, look, we're not getting a response yet, are you okay waiting?
There could be a fourth one to append to what you're saying, which is what about adding it to the fire station that is on San Antonio and Allen? I know they've got the smoke there, but we could put it on the other side.
We could put it on the other side.
They're subject to upgrades too, though.
Oh.
So, yeah, we're not sure. We're doing a property evaluation right now.
Okay.
So it may not, it may be that they just replace the roof. So we may do internal thing.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
I'm gonna pause for a second. Are they relevant to our meeting?
Why are we?
I don't know, just right now. We know who it is, so,
Oh, you do?
but I don't know if it's relevant to the meeting. Okay,
Please don't put that in the doorway.
because we lose our quorum with her leaving like this.
Right,
Oh, the staff was in the other room.
okay. So you said the second part.
Wait,
but
we're not-
Yeah, you can.
Stop when you left because we don't.
Okay.
Okay, we have a quorum again. In my opinion, it seems that if either or both of our fire stations are even remotely considering renovations, it just seems like there's so much doubt. I think we should give the artists an update and give them the option to walk.
I think if you follow what Commissioner Moore said, we could do that, but, you know, we actually placed Vortex on Third Street, and that building, we were told was gonna get torn down. So, or is gonna get remodeled, and it doesn't matter, because they can treat it like trees where they wrap them and it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's a possibility with this at one of the fire stations, but I guess it's up to, Director Hernandez to figure that out, and it could be they say no, or it's not a priority.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we don't know, so
I don't know.
I think we should just follow your model.
Even the chief wouldn't know. Even the chief says, yes, that's great, put it up.
Somebody could.
Once as you may or may not know, once I finish the property evaluations, it's gonna go to council. Council's either gonna say, oh, this building's good, this one's not, this one needs just interior updates, this one needs full renovation. I don't know.
And then that way, then he could get back to the commission and do what you're saying, which is tell the artist it's gonna be forever.
So here's my concern. On this list, there's an action that says, waiting on commission for final location. I would prefer to clear all actions upon it.
No, we're still talking about pulling of the belts, right?
Yeah. Number 9, the B part of number 9
So B.
says waiting.
It implies
Oh,
there's
okay.
an action on us, and I don't want an action on us if there's not an action on us. I would like to clear that action. So either.
Oh, okay, I get what
I
you're
see.
saying. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Clear.
So if, we don't have to take a formal action like a motion or anything to do this, I would just ask
This is not
staff
the chief, yeah.
to remove B from this
Yeah.
list so that we don't look like we're not doing something we should
Okay,
be.
we're good.
Okay, moving on to number 10. Oh, Commissioner Wang, did you have any comments on this item?
No.
Okay, item number 10 then.
Wait, what's the decision on?
On 9, we're just going to have,
Contact the fire.
staff
chief.
contact the
And I'll
fire
give you an
chief.
update once I contact the fire chief. If I don't have an update by June, then we'll take the next one.
And he's also gonna delete
That'd
B.
be great.
He's gonna delete B from this list.
Okay, all right, I just wanna make sure we have a direction.
I created this list. This is for me.
Yeah, this is.
Okay.
Okay, number 10, which is Butterflies in the Park, series of question marks, waiting on commission for final location, and then question marks with Lacey.
So my understanding of this item is our Public Arts Commission decided that Butterflies in the Park was gonna go somewhere near Lacey. And Lacey's gonna be under full renovation in about 2 weeks, so that's not gonna happen. Do we wanna wait until the renovation's over about this time next year, or do we wanna try to choose a different location?
Is this piece of art also on loan?
It would be on loan. It's not, we don't have it yet.
We don't have it.
No, no.
Was Butterflies in the Park, did it need a wall?
No.
Did I make
It
that
was
up?
supposed to be on the side of the wall of that building. Now, we don't know how well it's
But
gonna
not
go,
attached to the building.
not that I know of.
Okay, because it doesn't look attached.
It's
I think.
got-
Okay. Okay, I just remember earlier meetings, it said a wall, and so it confused me. Is there anywhere around here that it could go nicely, around the community center?
I think it's kind of a push,
Why? Seems like it's got kids on it.
yeah.
Did the prior Arts Commission establish a list of empty spaces that has us on a wish list of potential, so they won't have to keep relitigating where art is gonna go in our city? Like, you should have a wish list of 10 deep. We want.
I don't have a wish list, but I had a whole
We have a
list. Yeah, we have a list.
We have, we don't call it wishes, but there's a list of sites and, a lot of them have been, focused in South Los Altos.
Okay, so perhaps if the next time we discuss this, you can bring that list. And then we can, because right now, somebody just said, where could we move this? And it'd be nice if you just pulled up that list and we said, this is the next place we want to put it.
I
And
think that list is all of us. If we're going
Yeah.
around town and we see a space and go, wouldn't a piece of sculpture look nice here?
yeah, but if we already have a list ready with candidate sites where we know, we've already discussed it, we know and prioritized,
Right.
then we're only arguing about suitability.
Well, that's true. That's true. But sometimes, you know, a piece of art is so unique that you want to like look around for the best spot, kind of like Day on the Serengeti, where that could have gone anywhere. And Commissioner Couture found the perfect spot and it turned out to be beautiful. So it's a great thing to have a list. I agree with you that, but I wouldn't be wedded to that list. It was like, we wouldn't like explore other options. Do you think?
No, I agree, but it shows, it's important because we'll have those sites already in our head. And then, for example, new commissioners won't look there again because it's already been identified. Maybe that we're looking for new places where, you know, this unique or really powerful or a certain size, whatever the criterion is that says we need to find a new space. This doesn't stop that from happening. It's just that it'd be nice to know that we have this intellectual, we've had this intellectual discussion to say there's, you know, 5 places we know, maybe 3 or 4 of them are South Los Altos, 1 is up here. And we know we'd like to find some art for those spots.
Okay, so based on what we're talking about and on that list, is there anything that pops into your head that you recall from the list where sculptures could go? I'd have to go look at my list.
We discussed it extensively
Oh,
at that time.
mhm.
And that was where we came up with the best spot at that time. So I would say we wait because there was a lot of discussion spent with every one of these pieces.
We tried to find a spot that was perfect for that.
Sure, of course you would.
So,
Yes.
so for that, for butterflies, that perfect spot was Lacey. But what we don't know is if that's gonna go through full renovation,
It is,
It's gonna take a year.
it's gonna take over a year.
will the footprint of the building change?
No.
Okay, so it was based on what was discussed at that city council back in, it was like a couple of weeks ago or something.
Yeah. I think it was-
Okay, yeah, so that there's very minimal floor footprint, so there's nothing that you know of at this time that would stop that from being.
Except for the artist saying they don't wanna wait for a year and a half. So that's what we'd have to find out. And then once the renovation's done, if we could be ready to pull the trigger and have it done, and maybe even be part of the opening. of the-
Okay, so,
Yeah.
just so you don't know since you don't know the plan yet, and I need to understand this, so it's my understanding that the wall, it would be on the wall or against the wall, basically, facing the library side. Because the 2 other sides are windows, right? And then there's a front entrance. So the wall that's facing the orchard, and then there's a pathway to the library, and the library is there. Is that the wall we're talking about?
That's correct.
Okay.
This doesn't go on the
So
wall.
something's gonna change.
It goes
okay?
against the wall.
So it can't go
The
in that
footprint
location.
don't stay there, it's just that they will be a full enclosure for utilities now. So you've
Okay.
got HVAC, you've got all kinds of equipment, all that stuff is gonna be in a full enclosure, so when you
We have to
see,
find another
if you
location.
see the wall, I mean, you could use it, I'm not sure exactly, I don't know how big it is. But yeah, it's gonna be blocked by an enclosure.
Yeah, and the pathway is far enough away from the back of the Lacey that you'll be obstructed by the growing apricot trees. So I don't think the back of Lacey against the wall is a
Anymore
good
would be,
spot
but
anymore.
so is it possible for us to get a better picture of this piece of artwork sent to us so that we can see what we're talking about?
We have, you know, what I showed you is just my printout, but you
Yeah.
can blow these up.
Okay,
This is a
can that
printout.
be shared, or we can just go on?
I just have a printout from the call for art that was sent to the commissioners when there was a public arts commission, so I can circulate that to everybody so they
Yeah.
have it.
That's fine, send it to us.
Yeah, I'll send, okay, I'll take
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Yes, and.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank
Just
you.
like in number 9, can you please remove A under butterflies in the park?
But we are going to have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have.
And we have to find a location.
Okay, so we are, okay,
Yeah. So.
You're waiting on the commission for final location.
okay.
Okay.
So do we need to, don't we need to introduce that as a discussion item in the formal, is that what we're doing right now?
No.
Okay, so we would introduce it on,
This stuff is.
okay, so we would introduce it as an agenda item, a discussion item to actually determine the location.
On any outstanding pieces of work.
Correct,
section.
okay.
Okay.
So somebody would
also-
should need to raise this.
Chair
in the future.
Valdez, I do have notes about what the commission has been discussing for all of this. But this is just a PDF, so I couldn't make real-time adjustments even if Director Hernandez agreed that it was appropriate.
I'm taking notes too.
Okay, thank you. All right, so are we done with number 10? Okay, number 11, magnify. What does SEESE in parentheses mean?
Good question.
Arts, yeah, I'm trying to find you a picture. Yeah.
It's at Grant Park, needs the concrete pad, weight is unknown, and there are a whole bunch of things. Oh, so this is early on. Waiting for commission, schedule installation, W9 loan agreement, send stipend plaque. So we don't have this in our possession either.
That's as far as the information John gave me, no, that's straight.
Okay. So this is, way at the beginning of the process.
Going on the paths. Remember?
I found, it's the artist is C's, it's Kirk C's, but I can't find, I didn't print out the, actual piece that we had voted on. To show you a sample of his art.
So we don't have magnify.
I would just like
Yeah.
to clarify one thing, Chair Valadez. The previous pieces that have listed things like W9, loan agreement, etc., have already been installed. So I think that that means, according to John, that we have those pieces. We have the W9 and the loan agreement.
So we do have them.
Oh.
Yes, the previous pieces, I'm just going forward, say number 5, Joyful Rhythms, installed, and it has the same things listed, W9 loan agreement. I don't know, it seems,
We also have a loan agreement already, and we have
Yeah.
it for possession. That's correct. Well, we
if
don't
it's
have-
listed there, it seems like it means we already have it.
Where
Okay,
is
yeah,
it?
I did not interpret those that way. Sorry, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you.
Are you certain that your interpretation is correct?
No, I am not. I am
Okay.
telling you that based on my reading from the previous line items, that is how it looks to me. I have not had a meeting with John myself about this art piece in particular.
Maybe we could, maybe as part of my project, I could find out what pieces of art we're in possession of. Or do you want to do that?
I can do that.
Okay.
I don't think we have much. I know we have a couple. I don't know which ones they are.
Okay.
Where, if we did have it in our possession, where would it be?
To the yard.
In the where, sorry?
The yard?
Oh, the
The
yard.
yard.
City yard. Yeah, MSC.
Can you show me Reese's stuff?
What is MSC again?
This service center. Center.
Yes, those guys, remember? And I thought there were 3 of them and we were gonna put them down.
Is that magnified?
And we were gonna put them down.
So is that a dichroic glass type of piece of art?
Yes.
So we're just looking at a quick picture of a magnified type. It's a circular, probably glass. It looks dichroic, you know, the stuff that's somewhat iridescent in a spiral. And, do you know the scale? Is it like a 4-foot diameter thing or a little?
My recollection is that was gonna go on Newcastle at the park entrance, the back park. And I went and met. I
That's
think it
Grant,
was-
right? Newcastle is Grant.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Grant Park, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It was, and there were 3 of them. and we had to have a pad. And I don't remember who the guy was, but I met somebody.
Ron,
Yeah,
he put those pads in. Yeah, he told
Okay,
me, he
pads
told me
are
that
in,
he met with
okay.
you. Now I remember.
okay,
Now I
pads
remember.
are in.
now we just need the art
So the
installed.
pads missed. We just need the artist. All
And
right.
you say three of them, is that three on one pad? or
No.
two pads?
3 pads, so you're like,
Hectic.
yeah, you're like walking down and it's cool.
And the one after the other.
Yes, right, and
Alright.
they're different heights, correct.
Okay,
That was, yeah, that was a couple years ago.
okay,
I told
so, so
Meet with her, yeah, meet with her and just install the pad wherever she said.
Yeah.
And
okay, so if the pads are in,
let me check that, yeah, let me double check.
okay, so Manny will check,
And we'll
we
get the
may be
info.
further along than you thought here, okay, great. That is the last one on the list that I see, does anybody need to raise another one that's not on this list?
The only thing I would say is on Rosita Park, that sculpture, the paint is coming off in multiple places. I told John about that, but,
Which one?
it's, my brochure.
Joyful Rhythms, number 5, maybe? It's in Rosita Park. It says installed.
Where are you?
Oh, is that your sheet?
Yeah, it's already installed, but so it's wood and it's painted and there's at least 5 planks that the paint has chipped off of the wood. And those are all the south facing pieces of wood. Everything else looks great.
I'm not surprising then.
What's it called?
Wait, but there's,
It's number 5. It's number 5 on this list.
Yeah,
Joyful Rhythms. Oh, Joyful Rhythms. Sorry.
so if I look at this list, that spreadsheet,
It's not even on
So you're on it.
it's not on here.
So with all the information put together, we need to create.
But there is a thing at Rosita called Dragonfly.
Oh, Dragonfly was taken away. Because it was all,
So that'll be updated.
yeah, Dragonfly.
So with the update, thank you for the information. With the update to this item, then we can start making notes once this is fully updated.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then we'll
The
add
note that I'm taking from my memory here is that Joyful Rhythms needs maintenance on the south side and it's made of wood.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, that's how I'm categorizing this baby.
yeah.
All right. Okay, shall we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please don't log me out.
We'll get to the call for art. No, we have to.
Just a quick update on item 5, yeah.
City-owned art assets, maintenance and preservation update.
Thank you. So moving on, they push me. Moving on to the city-owned art assets maintenance and preservation update.
I'm old.
Going to receive an update.
Yeah, in the report, we're just, I think it was requested about, previously refurbishing Musical Gamble. And imagine that, if you go to this spreadsheet, you'll see it in like a burnt orange or burnt yellow, whatever you wanna call it, at the very top, those 2 I highlighted. I'm not sure, the commission asked to get an update on the maintenance on that one. I don't know what needs to be done.
Well, the art, we had a, maintenance analysis done by that company, and John has all that work, and they needed to be called to come and take it away and do it, because we had actually voted on it to get it done.
Yeah, it's Musical Gamble and Imagine That.
At the April 16th, we talked about it at the 2024 meeting, but we also voted on it May 23rd, 2023.
As part of the sculpture maintenance evaluation. So, and I guess what we were asking is just what's the status of the refurbishment?
Doesn't look like they've been picked up yet.
So are these,
It's
are
still out
these,
there, right?
Through the.
I haven't known, oh yeah, well, with the transition,
And,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it's great, we're picking.
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
that's
where everything kind of slipped.
okay, so at this time, the status of those 2 pieces that they are in place and they need maintenance. That has already been assessed what needs to be done.
I just don't know what to assess, where the assessment is.
So John would have that, the name of the company, do you remember that? Here you go.
There's a report.
Oh.
The report.
Maybe I can find it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to hang on to it.
A font of information.
That helps.
And what's the name of the company, just for my own edification?
Preservation Arts? Well, I know I've worked with them.
Yeah.
are on the giraffe.
Yeah, they did the
Library.
one in front of the light, the
Yeah.
zooscape.
Hold this on
Yeah.
to the
Okay.
side, yeah.
So typically when a refurbishment has to happen, is it true that they have to remove it, take it to some site, do the
Yes.
work and then bring it back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Do we put up a sign when we have things removed like that to let the public know that the art is out getting fixed?
No.
Haven't in the past since. We hardly get any questions, but sometimes we do.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on from that item, now we're going to go to the call for art sheet submission review to review choose finalists for the council chamber steps call for art.
Okay, Commissioner, or Chair, I'll go ahead and hand it back to you, however you want to do this. The commission, each of you, and hopefully Cindy, you've got the information from the email that we sent out on the artists that submitted for the steps. And this commission requested that we do this at the commission meeting today. And hopefully you have enough information to start discussing and making a decision on any finalists, and then also discussing the next step in the process with those finalists, unless you pick one person. So there you go.
Thank you. I'm getting back to my long PDF and we have some printouts of that. So similar to what we did with the hallway call for art. And we have the 11, it should be 11, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so, let's start with, excuse me, let's start with just some kind of questions. Everybody needs any questions or anything like that answered before we get into the meat of the discussion? Does everybody have access to either the online version of the PDF or a hard copy version of this PDF?
Yes.
It is coming up for me.
Great. Now, I want to make sure I understand the scope, because I'm looking at this picture that's in front of one of my questions is, looking at this picture that's in front of this packet, and it shows the steps, it shows the base of the banisters, and it shows, concrete, like planter, edge going out about 6 to 8 feet to either side of the staircase. And then I also see this top level above the door band of art. Is it fair to say that that's the sum total of the scope of art? So it does not include, for example, the board and batten facade of the building. It does not include the continuation of the planter concrete to the left or right, and it doesn't include that concrete wall at the left that has the ADA ramp banister on it to the left.
If I may, is the question what is part of?
Yeah,
You as commissioners, art commissioners, did you define the space for this?
Yeah, basically the steps.
Yeah, so this
This picture does a really good job of showing it. It's basically this edge.
Right.
and the sides, you cannot paint on top, for a variety of reasons. So it's really truly as you are going up the steps.
Only the steps.
So it does not include the structure above the door?
This is the artist's idea. So we just wanted the steps.
And when you just wanted the steps, did you also want that little section by the railing?
I don't have a problem with that, but so,
The way the artist did that rendering?
that's
Or
fine.
had you really seen just the risers?
There's also the vertical wall that goes along the risers. Yeah, I think the first thing we need to do is we need to, amongst us, understand what is the scope of work here. Because as I was reading through all the artists, you know, they all have different skills, right? Some have multiple skills, some have only one skill. And depending on the scope of work we want to do, you know, for example, let's say we hire somebody or we select somebody that is a mosaic expert. You know, they work in tile, they work in mosaic, they're fantastic. But if the scope of work includes, you know, something above the door where it's more suitable for your mural and not a mosaic, now we have problems.
I don't think we should be touching the building, is my personal opinion. I don't think.
Yeah.
The call for art was risers, right?
Yeah, risers.
The risers, that's what we
Correct.
called for art, it's risers.
I mean, I've gone through, the entire cafe printout, and this artist comes the closest to following the directions.
Yeah, correct.
And actually, this is actually my favorite.
But they see the scope of work as a lot more than risers.
Well, he was just showing it as a possibility. If you read the thing he wrote,
I get
I
that,
could
so,
do this.
so again, going back through history, one of my questions is, what is the scope of work and why is it that way? And why, for example, based on what Commissioner Corrigan or Vice Chair Corrigan just said, and also Commissioner Morris, what you said, just the risers, I would say, why just the risers?
I
Because
don't
then,
remember the details of the conversation, but it was discussed a lot, and at the public hours, I'll see if I can find the minutes, but.
I think what we were worried about, from my recollection, is we didn't want it to be too overbearing. And I don't think this artist specifically means it to be too overbearing. I think he's just trying, yeah, I don't know.
You can't see the concrete or whatever the.
Well, he's not doing paint, he's doing.
No,
wood.
that's why we didn't do the flat surface where people walk on.
It's just the risers, not the treads.
I'll see if I can find it.
And the treads have to stay yellow.
I understand that, but to me, I guess, that was my question. So my question is, there was a discussion, you guys decided risers only. And clearly, if we just use this as an example, I'm not assessing this person in any way. Just looking at this picture, it seems pretty clear that their impression of the scope might be larger than just the risers. So,
Again, it just says as a design option in his, yeah, I mean, any artist would love to go bigger.
well, I would also love to go bigger, so there we go. I always look at an art installation as a comprehensive thing, and so, especially when it's on a building or near a building, but that's my opinion. I just wanted to understand how it ended up being just the risers. And then, there's nothing that says we can't reaffirm that or change it. Because right, at this point, it's a discussion. But the point I wanted to make was that depending on scope, sometimes scope can complicate things if it gets too large, because the application, the medium of art might be suitable, that might be suitable for a particular part of that scope might be X, and then for another part of that scope might be Y. So that's something we need to be aware of. There's also the financial implications and all that kind of stuff. So is there a document that describes the specific scope?
I just found, a report by John Maginot, which basically said with the remodel of the council chambers, a rotating gallery of art along the wall of the council chambers is not feasible. There was a subcommittee formed by Chair Waldman to recommend potential art for City Hall, so I'll keep looking, but, so.
How about the call for art that Casey sent out?
It would have gone out
Didn't have
after
the scope on it.
April 2023.
That was something I was looking for. I'm sorry that I'm coming at this from a stance of ignorance, but I was looking for exactly that. I wanted to see where is the call for art?
The
Okay,
other thing too is this is all negotiable. I mean, this is something that the finalists will discuss, the commission or whatever that ad hoc committee becomes, will discuss with the artists on what this committee wants. So regardless of what is printed, I mean, I know there is an expectation by the artists, but I think the commission kind of has a grasp on what they're desiring out of this project.
Yeah, I see the first artist's work, the Littman, I see his idea as this could be done. Here's what's being asked for, the risers. If you want to go bigger, we can do all of this and create an entryway. And it's just simply an option. And he specifically says, as a design option in his fourth paragraph. So I think, as I said, any artist would like to go bigger for the most part on what they're doing. I have a question about, was there an amount of money put forth for this?
Not to my recollection, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But also something that just occurred to me is, it's gonna be at City Hall. I'm wondering if we want to maybe let the city council know about this before we do anything.
I thought they knew about this.
They didn't know, city council didn't know, but I thought,
I think they knew about it, if I remember correctly.
If it was part of the, if it was part of the update, the Chair Walton did, yeah, they probably did. Okay, all right.
It's also in our
we
work
definitely
plan.
we should tell council or send them information before we start working on it, so they can put a stop to it if they.
It's in our work plan.
You're gonna, yeah, you're
Oh,
gonna have to.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay, thank you.
Is there like a specific, like, are there parameters for what's allowed? Like, can it be like a mosaic or can it be just painted, you know, from a medium perspective? Or is
There's
like
no,
anything is open?
There was no restrictions
there's
on
no
that.
restriction. It is for us to, you know, make one or more proposals that, you know, we gain traction on amongst us. And then choose a list of finalists. I mean, unless it's very obvious that we go to the one, but I would suggest that we at least take 2 steps, set of finalists and then a one. But I don't want to go down any of that path unless I exactly know the scope of work. And I exactly know if there is a budget constraint, even if it's just tentative or you know, it'd be nice to have some kind of a budget constraint, because we could come up with a tiny little project and we missed an opportunity to make something more grand, or we could make a beautiful idea and they're like, heck no, we don't have that kind of money. So I would like to understand if there's any kind of a budget constraint. You know, we know how much money we have in the public, don't we use the Public Arts Fund for this?
Do it include a budget in the RFP?
No.
Okay, yeah.
That's negotiable.
Because one medium is gonna cost more than the other at the time, and so you would have to negotiate that with the artists, and I think that would be part of the decision, the final decision. But I think this first step, if I may, Chair, suggests that you choose what artist looks the best to you, and then you go to the
Then go
next
down that.
step. Because if they come back with $30,000 to put up some paint, you might wanna eliminate them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm thinking that the commission should go, so they can start looking at what art looks like it would work there, and then bring those artists in. That's what I would suggest.
So what we would do in the Arts Commission is that we would, as a group, go through every page and we would say, do you like this? And we'd raise our hands, and then we'd do that through a process of elimination, get rid of the ones that nobody liked. And then we would come back and then we would prioritize what we liked the best. Does that process work here?
I think it does. I mean, we can obviously make it work. My concern is that I hate deciding amongst artists, because art is art, for goodness sake, right? It's like there's no right or wrong. But I hate deciding amongst artists if we don't exactly know what we're, onto what we are applying this art.
you made that clear. So the problem is that we are wondering what the actual scope is. And for some reason, I'm clear that it's risers. But if we need to revisit this as a commission and say, do we want it just to be risers or do we want it to include more? Then let's talk about that. But we're kind of dancing around the thing, which is we've got a call to art. The call to art was the risers. And that's, as far as I know, that's what it was. So we, one, probably need to clarify that, and two, decide if we want to expand beyond that. If we want to expand beyond that, then we need, we'll probably do another call to art.
We're back to square one after several months of discussion. We actually took a tour of the steps with the prior commission. So, I mean, I would, if it's possible, I would like to just not start from scratch again and just go with what the RFP was, which was a call for art that said risers. This is the artist who gave a rendering that is closest to matching what was conceptually what the art commission wanted. And the reason I point that out is because it shows you what they meant.
And also this
And
guy.
that guy, like,
Yeah, Adrian and Chris.
yeah, and this guy though, he actually like did the lockout. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I think we should do, and then that way we're not starting over.
Well, Adrian's my number one. I picked 3 just because.
Okay, so should we just do that?
Well, I can tell you my 3 that I thought were based on understanding the job, trying to show us that they could do the job, and number 3, having the qualifications to do the job. I picked Adrian Littman, Chris Granella, and Robert Dale Goddo. I'm sorry if I said their names wrong.
Did we go through them applicant by applicant since they're not numbered?
Yeah.
Adrian's the first one that you see.
Yep.
And I want to say, yeah, Chris is number 3.
And so I'm sorry, I just to clarify, since I am remote and it's a little bit harder to make sure I understand exactly what everyone is saying. I don't want to misrepresent anyone. Are you each? Yeah, are you each going?
What we like, yes.
You're each going to comment on each candidate.
No, I'm only gonna comment on the ones that I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Good.
Okay. So Adrian, and can you tell me your next person?
Chris Granola. Granillo. And he's number 3 at 510-866-1930. And then last but not least, Robert Delgado. And where was he?
This has a more concise listing of their names on the back page of each.
Thank you.
So the thing about Granillo is that he's not a.
It's please, each commissioner,
What they want.
that's the way it was decided, right?
And where was the last one?
He's far back. He's like, I don't know which one. I'll go from the back.
He's on the first page, backside of this packet right here, the cafe
He also
packet.
did steps.
The names are there.
He did bronze step risers with ceramic tile inserts.
I don't need his number. I have his full name and I think it should be
This
sufficient.
one right here, all of them are here, every second page.
Roberto.
Roberto Delgado.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we have it. We have that.
Next. Anybody else, ready or you want to take a minute?
Can I,
Commissioner Ron, let us know when you're ready to volunteer your choices.
I have my vote.
Okay, go ahead and articulate them, please.
I like Adrian and Emily.
Can you spell
Emily.
that, please? Emily from?
Emily Fromm.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I have those recorded.
That was her workplace, commissioner.
She took a mural, the mural was the food on it.
With the what on it?
Again, she's on the back of the second page of this.
Thank you, that would help me.
This is really,
Yeah,
really.
no, I was looking, but I couldn't. Back of the second page.
Second page.
No, that's Robert Delgado.
You can see the one on, you see the, with the large, yeah.
She wrote a really long letter and then submitted some details, and I just thought it was interesting.
The problem is that it gives us no idea what it would look like.
Well, let's not litigate now, let's.
Okay,
get-
Yeah, we just need to get his name.
Sorry.
Well, I got slapped.
But
around.
we're not, I mean, we're not evaluating we're not thinking that what they submit is what they would do for the steps, right? Right now, we're just kind of the artist and getting a sense of the artist, and then we would work with them, right?
I disagree, because when I'm told to do a job and I'm told I want you to do this job, and I want you to give me a proposal, the closer I can get to fulfilling on the terms of the job, I think the better chance I have of getting the job. Just
Well, yeah,
my 2 cents.
follow our instructions. Okay, so I'm ready whenever you guys are ready.
So
Okay,
we're going to confirm. So Commissioner Wang, you gave 2 options.
Yes, she gave to.
Okay,
Adrian.
now moving on
Thank
to
you.
Vice Chair Corrigan, what are yours?
Thank you, Chair. There were only 2 artists who followed the instructions in the request for the call for art, and so that's Adrian Littman and, what's his name? I'm looking for his name. It's fine. Chris.
Chris.
And it looks like, is it Chris or is it M. Santandrea?
Here's Chris's right here.
Yeah, okay, that's not it. This is what I'm trying to look for.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Oh, that's the light structure. Yeah, that's towards the front.
Michael Sandria.
Michael Santandrea.
San-
Okay, so those
No,
are,
Santandria.
so those are the only 2 that followed the instructions and that we would actually know what they would deliver. The other ones we don't. I mean, they have a random assortment of murals that they just threw in there and would not be appropriate for the steps. So that's my 2 cents.
There is, right there.
So,
It's not my favorite.
Okay, but those are your 2 choices?
Yeah, I mean, but those would be the
Based
changes,
on the fact that they submitted,
based on what I've seen from the other work that was submitted, and yeah, basically, yeah.
so your criterion is based on following the call for arts,
Call for art. And also, you know, I actually I have to say my favorite is Adrian Littman.
Michael, I would, Michael Santandrea. Okay, so if I may ask, so, I mean, are there any, even if they didn't, if we mark on the specs of the call for art, and then the others leave you, just emotionally?
No.
Okay. Just one thought.
Not this time.
Commissioner Morris, you ready to go?
no, I'm not ready to go because what? Because I have a question. No, I'm not ready to go.
You have a question? Ask a question.
Those are mine from home.
Okay.
I have a question. This is my question. Do we have ever any concern about the artist not being vocal in California for something like this if it needs maintenance? Because there's an additional cost for bringing the artist in. So has that ever been a consideration with any of your choices? Like, do you ever put that as a question or no?
It has come into play usually when we have a piece of art that has to be transported across country,
Okay,
but not really for maintenance. And this particular artist is in Santa Rosa,
okay.
so.
And then I have another question. And forgive me for not having researched this fully. One of the artists has a process where she puts the mural work on fabric. And then installs that fabric and states that it actually lasts longer and requires less maintenance. Does anybody?
Prove that to me,
Okay,
unless it's Kevlar.
well, I do know artists who make rugs in that way and they last for many, many, many years. So I just wondered if anybody had any experience with this in a mural. So if we were to choose somebody who makes a statement such as that, but we do deeper research and find that it doesn't last as long, do we have the opportunity to then say, can we come back to it in any way once, like if staff or we do the research on that? That's what I'm asking.
I'm not understanding.
Well, I know umbrellas only last about 2 years outside.
Well, I am familiar with fabric art outdoors, and the requirement that I'm aware of is, number one, it's only certain materials, and they can't be synthetic of any kind.
Well,
Because
she spells it out. Did anybody read this? The
Yeah,
artist
but
spells it out.
I'm
And
talking about my experience.
okay,
My,
yeah,
and that
sorry.
is that, the other thing is because this is a north-facing facade,
Yeah,
it has the very much greatest, it's the best place to put fabric-based art
okay,
and wood-based art.
okay. Okay, so those were my questions and I'm not ready if you want to go. Chair Valdez.
So let me just put a pause in. My choices were, let's go here. I like Adrian.
Is that your first choice too?
I haven't ranked them because again, see, I'm coming at this from a.
That's one of your choices though, right?
Yes, it is one of my
Got it.
choices. I was also looking for an artist that could work across multiple medias because again, I'm coming from full disclosure, I'm coming from the perspective of, this is the entrance to a building, it should be a cohesive design, including the landscaping. And because I'm coming from that perspective, I was looking for somebody that had more breadth. In terms of being able to cross between different media, whether it was, painting plus mosaic, whether it was, this or that. So that's why, that was my approach. As a result, but his tile work stands by itself, so that's why he's definitely on the list. It wasn't clear to me from his write-up that he has, breadth outside of that.
Do we wanna choose yours first and then we'll deliberate all
Yeah,
of them?
so, the next person is where's the big, I'm not familiar with this one. I have to go through it. Say Shimura.
Yes.
I like this artist a lot.
Okay,
Very creative, very attractive to young people. Okay, so that's Sei Shimura. And then the last one was. It was Granillo. I forget his first name.
Yes.
Granillo. Yeah. Okay, my, Commissioner Morris, you ready yet?
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I know we're not going on about anything, so here are my choices. And not in a particular order.
Okay.
That Sei, so SEI.
Shimura.
Nicole Westfall.
Nicole Westfall.
Yep.
I don't have her in my head. So let me see.
And Chris Granillo.
And what was the last one?
Chris Granillo. And I guess if I were to put them in order, it would be,
I don't think it needs to be in order.
does it? Okay, all right, because if I had to, I could at least get two of them in order.
You spell what, it's West and then Fall, right?
Yeah.
What?
She has the pink header,
Nicole.
Nicole Westfall.
I'll search you exactly the same thing.
She has a pink header, if that helps. You did that right? Wait, I'm sorry, I have to look this out.
Was it more helpful sending this ahead of time or?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay, okay.
I sat and worked on
This
it.
is a little bit confusing with the paper.
No.
It's fine. This is why I'm so comfortable here. It's just,
It's a lot, though, to go through each person's stuff and then, well, for some of us.
no, so I gave it like a week and a half ago, and I'm like, forgot what I did.
We got your stuff a week and a half ago.
Whenever it first came out, I went through it. And it wasn't this day, a week ago. And all I've been doing is working on the museum exhibition that opens on Thursdays.
Commissioner Morris, are you still redoing things or are you done?
No, I think I'm done. I just got confused with Delgado for a minute and then but I'm done.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, sorry.
So with that, Chair, if I could help a little bit, let me give you the ones that no one chose first, so we can narrow this down. We have 11 artists and Anthony Jackson. No one chose them. Tanya Raycroft. No one selected them. Yes, very much. Thank you for your submission. Jose Trejo Maya. No one chose that person. And that's it. Okay, so we're able to eliminate some of them. Now, let me go down in case you haven't taken notes.
So I
Robert
can do it.
Delgado. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to make sure that Casey has that list.
So I can do a quick tally of any that have multiple acceptances, multiple votes. The ones that I currently have are Adrian with 4. I have Chris Granijo with 3. And Sai, S-E-I, I didn't get the last name because I am moving. Okay, between computers with 2.
Yes.
There are several others, each with 1 vote from several commissioners. But those are the 3 that have multiple votes.
Can you list the ones that do have at least 1 vote?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. I have Nicole Westfall.
Okay.
I have Michael, and there were a lot of last names with that, and again, 2 computers. Michael, is it Say Tom Ramo? Okay, that one. I have Emily. So Emily Fromm. I think she was later in the list. Commissioner
Nicole.
Wang.
Yeah, we
No.
she said West.
Oh, let's go. Okay,
No. There was an Emily that Commissioner Wang liked.
Yeah, Emily Fromm.
Okay. So
And then
that
there was Delgado, no?
Yes, Delgado too.
There is. And then when I get back to the top of the list, I have Roberto Delgado.
And that's 1?
And he had, yes, and that artist had 1 nomination.
So does that mean that if Adrian and Chris each they were the top 2 vote getters and we're trying to get to 3, then we're deliberating amongst the remainder that had 1?
So we also had 1 with 2. Adrian had 4, Chris had 3, and Sai had 2. And then the remaining artists that I listed each had 1 nomination from a single commissioner.
Yeah, I'm just doing a real quick look. I know Emily Fromm. I'm looking at the ones just to see, remind myself of who they are.
Are we allowed to talk about whys now or no? About why we're interested in one over another? Because
Not quite yet. Let me just refresh my memory here on who these people are.
do we have any people online or any of the artists attending the meeting? No. Okay.
Nobody's online.
Okay.
We have had no one online for the entire meeting,
Okay, thank you.
so you know.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's in the parks thing.
That's because we don't have any dog park here. If the dog park was here, there'd be 9 people.
Or if we were
Something
trying to
else.
put a play structure somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so, what I would propose is I hate, eliminating people right away, but it might be expedient if we just focus on the top 3. The 4, the 3, and the 2.
I'm fine with that.
So that would be Adrian, Chris, and Say or Sai. The only exception would be if somebody really wants to fight for somebody that they chose. And I want to give grace to that. So, does anybody want to really fight for that one? Because there are 4 of us that picked one.
Well, Adrian's my top, so
Okay, so you don't.
I don't need to fight.
Anybody else?
So I just wanted to register, like, my only, the artist that had the 2, the thing that put me off about that artist is that in the letter, it was like to the city of San Anselmo Art
Yeah.
Commission. It just wasn't even to us. And so I eliminated that artist right away just because she wasn't even, or he or she wasn't even talking to us and writing to somebody else. And so I feel like if, you're not even submitting your application to the right city, like how much passion would you have and pride in actually doing the work for the, for our city, because you didn't even submit it to our city.
I wonder
I think
if,
that was safe.
that could be something as lame as she mixed up which one she wants to
Yeah,
send to us.
she sent the wrong thing.
You know,
It's a good comment.
I thought of
It shows
it.
a lack of attention to detail.
I thought of it.
I would suggest that.
I'm sure they do this a ton to try and keep themselves.
I've even done that to clients before, and then I look at it 22 times and I'm like, oh, they're wrong.
Letter of recommendation.
Oh, see.
Sorry.
Okay, but it's good to know that that's why,
Thank you.
because I looked at it and thought, well, that's interesting, it's the wrong city.
Like I
So-
get solicitations all the time for sponsorships. And if they get the name of my company wrong, I don't even respond. I just delete it. I just apply that same rule.
I call them up and I say, you realize you weren't even talking to me, and then they fall all over themselves, and then I can list whatever I want and they do whatever I want. I use it as a power move, so I have a different approach.
That's a good way to do it.
Because they don't want their reputation to be tarnished. But, again, you have to start with the loving the art. And I know I personally really like this art, and I like the breadth of it, so that we could go crazy, we could go not crazy, we could go somewhere in the middle.
I hope she applies
I
again.
don't even know if it's a female. Is it female?
I don't know.
I
don't
don't
even
know.
supposed to ask that anymore.
No, yeah, I would say they. They appear to have,
Say,
A wide
has some
variety.
cool stuff.
of media, they do
Like, I
some
love
augmented
that.
reality. They do, monochromatic stuff, they do, anyways, that's why I picked that person, that was one of my picks. Who else picked that person?
Me,
Okay,
because for the reasons you said, which was she would appeal to younger people, which I think is really nice. I love that it was playful and it was bold and it was colorful. And if you're walking up the stairs, which is also what Adrian, who wasn't my pick, it does, is you see the entrance. So you're grabbed by the color. And that's why I chose the people I chose, actually, for the most part.
But if you look at Say's work, none of it is shown on a step riser. It's shown on a big wall.
Yep, I
So
know,
we have
but,
no
and
idea.
that would be whether she could pivot and do a step.
but also if you look at a lot of the work, some of it is very detail oriented, and as
Yeah.
long as it's detail oriented, then they can scale down. If all they did were grand works with huge letters, like if all they did was this, I might say, okay, can you make it small? And maybe that wouldn't be good, but there are others where there's a lot of detail. I also like that they use a lot of different media. I mean, everything from aerosol to acrylic to light to, anyways, I'm not gonna keep litigating, that's why I chose that person. But I hear what you're saying, Commissioner Wong, about, either they made a gross mistake or they don't pay attention to that kind of thing.
I mean, I really think it was a recycle of another proposal request, because in the letter, the person also said, I'm excited to work on this bench project. I mean, everything about it was wrong. So I just have a hard time giving someone a chance at our city that didn't even bother to submit stuff to our city. But, I mean, that's nothing with the art or anything. It's just,
I'm with you
on that, and I always give an artist a break because engineer brains are different than artist brains. Trust me, I work with both kind of brains, but it was too glaring for me.
Well, too glaring the art or too glaring the shape?
The letter.
Okay, but the other thing that I was wowed by was the experience, this person has been at Art Basel, I mean, they've gotten accepted to these very high-end,
Tons of experience.
locations.
But we're the only two that liked her, so there are two other people that got bigger votes.
Yeah.
So,
Is it discussion time?
I think we're-
I can see if there are any public comments, even though there are no public.
No public
I'm not
hearing.
gonna vote.
Only people that can comment are people who show up.
Okay, oh, you're right, okay. I just don't know if formality is that you're supposed to say it anyway, like acknowledge.
Yeah, we asked if there was anybody online, if there's
Yeah,
not, I'm not
okay.
gonna ask for public comment.
Okay.
I think the asking if there's anybody online is the precursor to deciding if we're gonna offer
But
public
we
comment.
can't take
You can't
public.
take anything
comment.
I thought that was just an answer.
Okay,
You're right.
Yes.
The only kind of comment we could take is if they can't hear
Okay,
or can't see.
okay. All right,
okay,
so, yeah, we've been in discussion with this.
Okay.
thing.
because,
So can we say Chris Granillo, we had 3 votes,
yeah, you had 3.
and
Yeah.
what was the other one?
Adrian had 4.
Adrian had 4. Can we say those 2 at least?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so we're good there. And I
Wait.
think
What do you mean, those 2 at least?
those are our top 2,
those are the top 2.
Okay,
so we can talk about those.
In no particular order.
okay,
But
so what is so are we keeping Shimura in the finalist category, or are we eliminate them?
If you've got 3 people who are voting against, say, if I'm reading the room right.
So can we make that a little bit more, formal? Can I see a straw? I want to see. So
I'm a no.
Commissioner Wong, no, right? Commissioner Couture, no.
No.
Morris?
I'm a yes. I don't know.
No, okay, all right.
We lose.
That's not how you look at it, because I look at her as being somebody that we can have in the future.
You know what, that was one of my questions, is there are a lot of really great artists in here. Like, I thought, man, we have some artists that I would love to see work by in our city. And so I wondered if that happens, if you do these calls for art and you see this amazing stuff, but it's not appropriate.
A lot of same names.
Yeah, totally. You can be.
But if it's not appropriate for this call to art, then can we reach out to them and say, we're
Well, they-
doing another call to art, please?
They get the,
They're connected.
they get the call
They're
for
gonna
art
see.
all the
Because
time.
of the cafe?
Yes.
Okay,
My question is, have we ever accepted more than one artist for a given call to art? Because there are different elements to it. Like, the example that I have is the augmented reality one that used to be in front of Akane, right? Those were 2 artists that collaborated because they had 2 different compositions. Has that ever happened for public art that you guys have done?
I'm
in
not
your
aware of it.
experience?
I think we may have done for community art, in the community center, but yeah.
Yeah, there's always different artists in there, but
No, I mean somebody specifically collaborating.
no,
No.
okay, not that I know of. Unless somebody collaborated on the community center and we didn't know about it.
Okay.
so a couple things if I may, is that fair? Okay. So, I really like Adrian's work. I know that Adrian, based on what was submitted, is a very accomplished artist, you can tell, and has a great deal of skill. Why I wasn't drawn to it as a vote, though, for myself, was that I would like to see something that ties in our community in some way, so that we pull in, say, the orchard, we pull in some of the aspects of Los Altos into the artwork, so that we have a purpose for it being there.
Give the artist a direction that was not in the call for art, though. That's the problem.
How is that not consistent? I mean, how is his work? You're surmising that his work is inconsistent. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, what I'm seeing is it's mosaic, it's tile, it's gorgeous. It's stunning work, but it really has little to nothing to do with what I'm thinking of.
That's because he wasn't asked to do that in the
Right.
call for art.
But some people submitted, like Chris Granillo submitted artwork that showed that, submitted photos of artwork that he had done that actually does tie in the community. And that's why he was one of my votes, is because he ties into the community that he's working in. And I really appreciated that. So, that's why I just wanted to say that. And the reason, I didn't go for I think it was Emily Fromm, just as a side, is we already have a mural by her in town. So I wasn't as drawn to having her repeated in our town again. I feel like,
Yeah.
let's give another artist a chance to do it. So I'm not opposed to Adrian. I just was more, and I love that he went above and beyond, like, look, we could do this too, because we could do this. Maybe we need to talk about it. But I would like to see something that's a little bit more grounded in this, in us.
So the 3 pictures that we got from Granillo are all nature pictures. Is that what you're saying to me?
Are the stairs in there? Are there?
Yes, no, that's nature.
Oh, so I'm afraid I may have mixed up my artists, because there's one who has.
Santa Cruz's graduation staircase.
Well, Santa Cruz has a huge, what's it called? Garden. Garden degree, what that would be, horticultural degree.
Oh, they have tons of.
Is this Chris?
Yeah.
I mean, yes. I mean, so he shows that he has experience, he brings in his surroundings, he brings in the community. That's why, because I wanted to see more community. We're talking about our city hall, and I just thought it would be nice to have something that would bring in that. So that's why I was interested in Chris. Doesn't mean
Thank you.
doesn't matter.
Can I go next? So Chris in his statement says that he was trying to be inspired by the local surrounding fauna and flora environment. My guess is we could go back to him and say, we want some apricots thrown in there or something like that.
You mean Adrian?
I'm sorry, Adrian.
Adrian, you said Chris.
Okay,
So
thank you,
Adrian
you're
said,
right.
okay.
Adrian said, thank you so much.
Mhm.
But the other thing too is that look at his experience in terms of working.
Yeah.
And he's the only person he called out, and this was something that was a concern when we were scoping this project, was the safety strips at the top of the steps.
Yeah.
He's not the only person, some other artists called that out too in here.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Pointed out that they need to be there and how they work with it.
Yeah, but he's the only one who actually did a mock-up so that we can actually see what it looks like. Again, I go back to, he seems like the most professional.
Agreed, he's got a lot of experience.
You're talking about Adrian.
Adrian, yes, Adrian Littman.
Yeah.
And he's local, that's the other thing too, he's Santa Rosa. So maintenance is an issue.
And,
He's here.
yeah, my only thing was, I envisioned, something that tied in community differently,
Oh.
differently.
I wouldn't, I mean, my guess is that, if Director Hernandez were to reach out to him, he could explore the options of, could he tweak it?
I mean, in
I
my.
don't think he's proposed, I think that's what you're
Well,
asking.
he hasn't, but his style.
Let's take finalists. Let's say we picked 4 finalists. We're not doing that, but let's just say we did. Now we write a more specific call for art. We start over and we say, here's the scope of work. Here are the surfaces you're going to impact. And here are the spirit.
Yeah, I hear you.
And we're willing to have variability, but answer this
What
call.
do you
And
see?
we want the risers.
Something like that. Well, we're gonna have all these beautiful risers with all this dumbass, ugly concrete all around it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, could we explore just the risers as one piece of it, and then could we explore expanding to the sides of it?
I don't want the city council to tell us no.
Right, so it would be 2
they
separate
want a
things.
beautiful facade for chambers. The other thing is, to be honest.
You don't want to say it.
To be honest, here's my concern. I believe in very integrated landscaping, hardscaping, and architectural design. They are one thing to me. They are never 3 independent things. And so when I look at the facade and the style of our chambers building, of our city hall building, it has a very specific architectural style that frankly, a beautiful, colorful mosaic that I would love does not fit with that architectural style. It does not. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't passionately love mosaic, because I do. It's in my culture. It's all about who I am. You look at my house, there's a ton of it. But when I look at the architectural style of this building, it looks anachronistic to me. So for the sake of art, that's why I wanted to find the scope. I want us to consider more than the risers. And then this is where we might have to talk with council is, right now it's a board and batten, Asian-esque, most interesting eaves, bizarre eaves I've ever seen of a building.
It's organic and fits in it's supposed to be organic and fit in there.
Well, the vegetation is certainly.
The only thing organic about this architecture is the low pitch roof. Everything else about it is really, and I guess you could say the wood facade, but everything else, like those eaves, those are not organic eaves at all.
Okay, so can we wrap it up?
Yeah, so my question is, my suggestion is we come up with finalists and then we rewrite the call for art. We give them a new call for art that says, now we'd like you to meet these basic metrics.
So we have to come up with that for next meeting, right?
Here's where we could establish an ad hoc committee if you'd like, but I would still like to do that. I like the discussion to be open amongst us.
I would agree.
So, I'm pushing
Everybody
against.
come up with what they want for next time.
I would agree. Everybody come up with a statement of work, a scope of work, and, general theory on content. If you want to focus on the agricultural state, part of our history, you want to focus on the prehistory.
Yeah, the
Somebody else wants to
Indians
focus
or-
on, contemporary.
But stay within our vote. I don't think we want to
We're picking
Stay
finalists.
within our vote. Okay,
We're
okay.
picking finalists as a group. So we're all working on the same, I'm hearing, Adrian and Chris
Yeah,
are our finalists.
I agree.
So we would write this, both of them would get exactly the same thing, but what the next phase is for us to each independently come up with our own vision, and then we put that on the table, and then we have a discussion.
And do we write the other people a letter? Thank you very much for your submission. Please keep us advised. Please watch for our next,
Is that
call for art.
No, I don't know.
We don't do that?
I can do that. Yeah, I mean, we could post something and send an email out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You could also call cafe.
Yeah, cafe.
Yeah, it's okay.
Something that's like, your art submission was greatly appreciated and,
We're
blah,
looking
blah,
forward to
blah.
it.
To
More
see it in the future. It just wasn't,
Please look for more submissions.
Yeah,
right.
Our fault.
wasn't for this particular.
That's all it's gonna be. We're not gonna
Okay.
compete.
Anybody can tell.
I really loved it.
That they.
I mean, I like the videos better than
So we have two finalists.
Yes.
Let me staff get this straight. We have two finalists.
Yes,
Staff is not doing anything at this point.
No, we are.
Commissioners are doing something and
Yes.
coming back.
we're gonna do
For
our
the next
homework
meeting.
and come back for the next.
And then we'll have a discussion to review each person's vision, and then, we'll go forward.
And I will say, I hear what you're saying about this, artist Littman could come up with something that is appropriate to the area. So I think that would be great that we see that because, this doesn't scream Los Altos. And it's an important one.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would ask you to keep in mind is that anytime you hire, you probably know this, anytime you hire an artist, they are absolutely free to bring in collaborators that manifest the vision that conforms to our call for art, right? They're free to do that, whether it's, if you hire a mosaic artist and they bring in a painter, or they bring in a lighting artist, or they bring in whatever.
Well,
Do we want to give them a budget?
personally,
I really did. I really
Do we
do.
want to say no more than 30,000?
Oh, we're not, come on.
I mean, I don't know.
That's why I would, just basic negotiating skills, I would not give them a number.
Okay.
Let them give you a number, and even if it's outright, even if it's 35,000, I would suggest that the commission say, well, our budget based on everybody's submission, or actually
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
If one's 35 and the other one's 15, you're gonna say,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you come down a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
just so the commission knows, the commission budgeted $119,000 for all the art purchases, rentals, and maintenance of everything, and this is included in that. So,
For $119,000?
yes, for the year. So I can check up, yeah.
Who budgeted that? Who budgeted that?
They budgeted it before we came on.
Why is that?
How much?
It's just a year work, that's all.
I mean, we didn't get the part.
Art is so expensive now.
I know.
We know.
I think
We know.
I think you're okay because 75 was supposed to go to the heart. Yeah, so.
Well, I do think we move forward understanding that we didn't get the heart.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to be aware as we move forward on this. We're not gonna get it.
I think we need to calibrate. In my opinion, we need to calibrate the community and calibrate council on the cost of art today.
I think there
You
are-
can't buy a painting the size of that screen in oil for less than $5,000 or $6,000.
Well, I think we have a much bigger issue coming down the pike. I have a feeling they, as in people that I'm not aware who they are, have ideas of very expensive things coming down the road that they're gonna need our money for. So. I'm
Oh,
just-
you guys were kind of getting.
Okay, so this is,
Okay,
so we've got our homework.
Yes.
Come back to the next meeting with our vision for, yep,
The specific definition
Yeah.
for the cultural.
okay, perfect,
Cool.
perfect, thank you.
Awesome,
Well, that's
Informational items?
yes.
it's up to the chair.
Yeah, let me get on this here, get back to the agenda. All right, informational items, anybody have any?
Well, can we get an update on what's happening over at the park with the steps? We keep getting letters from.
There's no update to be given. When there is an update, we'll give it to them.
Okay.
You mean
Yeah.
at Redwood
You're talking
Grove?
about Redwood Grove
Yeah.
to
Oh,
the
right,
hills.
right.
It stays the same. I think the last time this was spoken about in public is it's in the hands of the hills to come up with an agreement that is good for council. When they do have that, they'll present it to council and we'll go from there, but nothing else has changed.
I did reach out, full disclosure, I did respond to Jim's email and ask him specifically, are you asking us for an action on this? Because he sent a few emails, and long time ago, and I did disclose it when I did it, I met with him at Redwood Grove and walked around with him, and that was well before we were
Yeah,
combined.
he's been very open that
And-
there's nothing for us to do right now.
Right, but I did just to clarify it with him and make sure, you know, like, I was like, are we missing something here? So, but he's willing to walk people around there too, which is nice, so he knows a lot.
He walked me too, but I think he's got a different idea than what the hills was thinking.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, he just wants something done, I think.
Anybody else?
Yes, in front of you, you should all have a copy of the last week's town crier. You should read the letter to the editor about murals. It reflects, the view of many citizens, residents who've reached out in the past to the Public Arts Commission with complaints about the murals that are popping up all over the city. And I only bring that to your attention so that you're aware of it and you're aware of that sentiment that's out there, in case you get questions. So I hope that's helpful.
It's on page.
I tell them it's not.
No, it's-
Sorry. We're not the bears, they're bad.
I'll be honest, I don't think that the park should comment on that, until it takes it on as a topic.
I think it's perfectly appropriate for me to raise it as an issue because it came up.
No, raising it here is fine. What I'm saying is we shouldn't be rendering opinion.
In terms of what?
Raising an opinion?
Well, people blame park for the murals on private property, and I tell them, park is not involved with murals on private property. That's Arts of Los Altos.
And I agree with that, but then stating the facts and then stopping there.
But you can't, but when they come at you and blame you, you have to be able to defend your positions, I think.
I think it's
I
To
don't
clarify
It's
it.
just, I don't believe any opinion.
Opinion's been coming out, it's just that,
We don't,
that's the answer.
yeah, it's not us.
Okay.
Okay. And also we have a list on our website that says where ours is.
The public
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's stick to
And then, any others, because then I want to move on to any other, future agenda item requests.
Well, Chair, I suggest that we make a note that that this item at the end, the cafe restructuring or
Yes.
narrowing that will be on the next.
Yes,
Yes.
and then we have Juneteenth for
And
May.
then Juneteenth should be on the agenda, which I think that was already on the
Mhm.
future agenda item.
Mhm.
And I still don't know about the dog park yet.
Okay, so that was my next question, okay.
The other thing that came up was the police, or the fire chief question, and so would that go on a future agenda item so that we make sure we.
What fire chief question?
About the art.
To ask the.
Oh, the art, it'll be information. That's all.
Okay,
That's
okay.
information. No, we're talking about agenda items.
Okay, all right, okay.
Okay,
All right.
all right, I think I'm adjourning the meeting
Oh, thank you.
at 8:29.
Got that, Casey?
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you,
Appreciate
thank you,
that.
all the
Take care.
feedback, Cindy.
I want to thank everybody for all the work that they did, and getting all the materials. They did a ton of work.